And so what you see here is a new environment of television that's never happened really before, because it never had the chance to experiment with the audience. It never had the chance to hear some feedback and hear how people liked it or not. Now we have a feedback loop where people can have a second screen experience all the time with Twitter, with GetGlue, social TV, appointed television. The ability for TV to interact with its audience allows for a completely new time in television production. You get to know if people like it. And on top of that, you get to create characters that people relate to, and if anything else, find and can find more about than anything before. Sort of like how in Weenie Girlfriends they created characters on MySpace. They don't have to. The person themselves is the character, and you can communicate directly with them through Twitter. That's an amazing step in the TV's direction. And you can tell this is becoming very corporatized now because everyone's getting in the game. Magazines like Glamour and GQ have web series through Condé Nast Entertainment. You could see that a lot of web series are moving, doing the crossover thing. I mean, look at shows like Workaholics. That's a show on Comedy Central. That was a web series. Drunk History. That went from the internet to Funny or Die Presents on HBO to Comedy Central. You can see The Annoying Orange. You can see that's a show that has made its way to television. And if you look at the show Tosh.0, I mean, that whole show is based on finding content on the web and making it and bringing it mimetically to an entire wide audience so people could see content online. I mean, their connectivity is really high, but not everybody sees everything. And these are shows that cross the lines and move into a new sphere, television. Now, this is all happening simultaneously of what I would say would be the best time in traditional television in history. At the beginning of Honest Trailers of Breaking Bad, it goes, where adults now go to see film is now television. Film itself is basically on TV. The idea of having a cinema experience, the idea of having a deep construct, a deep story that affects you emotionally, is television. And if you look at the premium channels that brought it to us, we have The Sopranos, The Wire, Game of Thrones, all HBO shows. You look at Homeland on Showtime. These are very well-made, long-form movies that are brought to you episodically. And if you look at cable, look at the best shows on cable in history. If you look at The Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, Mad Men, I mean, those are all AMC examples, but you could see other shows on FX and so forth that bring you deep storylines in the best type of television drama that we've ever created, all the way down now to Netflix. I made a call in 2007 that by 2015, an alternative television production place would be nominated for an Emmy. It was kind of crazy sounding then. But now when we're looking at a show like House of Cards that got Emmy nominated from Netflix, it's the first time in history that a television show isn't coming from the traditional outlet. I mean, this is kind of like a shakeup of when cable came out, but this Netflix is a new distribution. And we could technically call Netflix television web television, because it's brought to you via broadband, the web. And so shows like House of Cards or Orange is the New Black are shows made for an audience that is subscription-based because they're niche-based. They are people that already desire a type of show, not live. They're not appointed people. They're more of a consuming people. And so, this brings us to the base of all of it, that this is all about storytelling. And the storytelling affects us personally. It brings us closer to the story through the screen, because you have to remember that the screen is still 2 dimensions as of now, and we still have to become attached to it and feel like we're part of it. And so if you're storytelling properly, people want to watch. It fills the demand of the audience. There's a quote in the New York Times in around 2005, an article called Multi-Screen Mad Men. And in the article, an advertiser said, you know, there's going to be about a 10-year period in which we're confused on how to advertise. From about 2001 to 2011. And mind you, saying this in the middle of it. He said, but trust me, when that 10-year period ends, we'll be able to advertise to you and you won't even know it. We'll have figured it out so well that you'll just accept it as TV. And so this has been going on for years of how TV will be itself blended into our culture in many different facets and forms. The big 6 corporations, they're kind of moving along with it as we're going, but you're also looking at alternative outlets that are vying for their place in the media sphere. You're looking at Apple trying to get in and Google trying to get into those top 6 media places to the top number of media places because they're trying to become a distribution outlet, trying to create some way of getting content out there. But it's all down to, based on ratings and analytics, and more than anything, algorithms. How do they bring TV to you? How do you get something where you like it and it finds something similar to that and brings it to you? Inside of your Google account, if you want to see how people watch, you could actually go to analytics and see minute by minute, second by second breakdowns of how people enjoy your show. And if you don't think that the vloggers on YouTube aren't doing this, well, then you're mistaken. Because you could see, they can see what people enjoy and what they don't per second, so they can remimic that each and every time. Get this, House of Cards, it was made very much like that. They took the best forms of what people want in TV by studying how people like television and building it on that. Is that cheating? Is it cheating to make a television show that people are bound to like because you've made it that way? These are things that you have to start thinking about. If you're going to think about television and media and how the future goes, you're going to have to start thinking about how we watch, how we are at. Remember, there is still another step, and we're not there yet, but we're getting there. People who wear Google Glass, that is important to see how people are going to interact with media. Wearable technology, wearable television, it's right on their face. Not only that, but the idea of augmented reality, incredible. Disney itself is one of the biggest promoters of it, but a lot of magazines are doing it. It's where the world itself has advanced by holding the screen up to something and looking through the screen to augment your reality. And that's a media, a television way of looking at how stories can be constructed based on the life you're already living. So your last video homework assignment, which is due at the end of the class, is I want you to tell me about what you think is the future of television. I want you to tell me what you think is where we're going to be in about 5, 10 years. How are we going to watch? Who are we going to watch? What are our stories going to be about? You tell me. And if you tell me and anything about reality, maybe that's the way it's going to go. If you think that it's going to be all integrated, that's fine. But I just want to hear from you what you think the future of this medium will be. And it's pretty important to the way you watch and the way that you will be successful in this industry.